It's not that you are wrong, but the problem is the solution came from you. The advice came from you. Known or unknown, people always have this hidden jealousy, hidden competition with you, with your mind, with your experiences in life, with what you've been through, and they want to compete with that. How many times have you met people? How many times have you been friends with people who compete about what you like, how you live, who you go for, what's your type, who you date, what you eat? Everything with them is a sense of competition, and it's a malicious competition with them. The person who's secretly competing with you, they're of course extremely insecure within themselves. And because you are secure in yourself, because you normally put yourself on a certain threshold, and if you don't reach that threshold, you talk to yourself about it. But if you do cross that threshold, you create another milestone for yourself, and this can be within yourself. This has nothing to do with anybody who's surrounding you. And those are the people I'm talking to. And you people have people who are close to you who see you doing better every day, every year, every 10 years, whatever it may be. And they wonder, what is it that she's doing, he's doing, and they're twiddling their thumbs trying to figure out your secret sauce. There is no secret sauce. You're just focused on your self-growth, and you just have certain expectations out of yourself. And you don't live your life based on who you meet today, who you met yesterday, who was your friend 5 years ago, 10 years ago today. If people want to leave, they can leave. If they want to stay, they want to stay. At the end of the day, you are more concerned about your own self. And people will call you selfish when you focus too much on yourself. But that's how it's supposed to be. The society has made it very common for us to just put ourselves in competition with this damn stranger or this person we've known for years. And when they are doing better, suddenly we feel a sense of entitlement that we should be a part of that success. Or why are they so successful? And why him? Why her? Why not me? And sometimes people are friends, and sometimes people are family members. So they never want to show that to you. So it keeps them brewing inside, until it bottles up. And that is a them problem, which they need to fix because they are insecure and they never want to accept it. And if you're not friends with them, and if you were used to be friends with them even, then that becomes a sense of jealousy, and that can really erupt in different ways, because there are two types of haters. One who will watch from far away and hate on it, and second, who will befriend you or will come around you and will put obstacles in your way so that you don't succeed. So they are anyway a low life. They don't want to do anything in their life because they are constantly focused on what is their neighbor doing, what is their cousin doing, what is this friend of theirs doing, what is so-and-so doing, what is their lover's ex doing, whatever it may be. So they are so involved in somebody else's life and focusing on other people's successes. And then they end up becoming angrier and madder with life, with God, with everything as to why him, why her. Because when they see somebody else getting successful in their life, in whatever capacity it may be, it doesn't always have to be money. But these people just do not understand the self-growth a person's made. And so they end up calling people fake, phony. They start getting angry at people's successes. And then they wonder, what is the secret sauce? The secret sauce is you just focusing on yourself, man. Because we have our own life to focus on, and we have some goals that we have to meet. And this can be personal goals, professional goals, life goals, self goals. Many times people think that just because they are friends with us, our family, or our lovers, they should know everything about our life and that they know us inside and out. Nobody knows you inside and out. And just because they have been born and bred a certain way, and just because you have connected in your life with each other now, does not make you the same people. You don't need to dress up the same way. You don't need to act and sit and talk the same way. Y'all aren't twins. And even if you guys are twins, people have their own personality. People have their own likes and dislikes. So how is it that you are competing and comparing basic, normal things, basic, in-depth things, and comparing yourself based on the likes and dislikes, the purpose, the hobbies that a person is gifted with and interested in, and they excel at it or maybe not. And you think they're better than you, but that is not your calling. That's not what you're supposed to do. So why are you even doing something just because she or he is doing? So that does not make sense, because at the end of the day, people are equipped because of life experiences. People are well equipped with what they do, something that they're natural at, without having to compete or compare themselves, is because it's something that is ingrained. Our genes are different, for fuck's sakes. So how is it that two people want to be and do the same thing, and when there is something that happens between these two and they go their separate ways, then one becomes a phony because they're not paying attention to you? How many people hate on other people just for what they're doing and just for what is seen of them? How many people hate on other people's successes, delivery, or anything that they do that makes them happy? And when you do something that you want to do that has your heart, your spirit, your soul, you end up meeting people who are on a similar life path, who are into similar hobbies, the way they think, the way they act, what they do, what they dislike. When you meet people like that, unfortunately, we also find people in that group who are insecure. So yes, it's all about finding our tribe, but when we find our tribe, it's not just on face value, it's also for you to see within as to who is seeing you as a competition versus a partner. And I will always say, from competition stems jealousy, and from jealousy it becomes envy, and that is worse because you don't know what you're doing wrong and you don't know who did you hurt at what point in your life, but suddenly everything is crashing down. And this is not by God, but this is man-made, because people hate when you are doing better than them. As long as you're doing good, they're fine. And that is when we need to be very careful, especially when it comes to friends, that who is jealous of you as a friend and who takes care of your friendship and who actually respects you as a person first. Because unfortunately, in friendship, as much as you want to do everything like each other, especially when it comes to doing things together, hanging out together, it's very natural for you to have your own life. Just like in relationships, you can have your likes, your dislikes, and people need to support you, not just watch you in the sidelines and be quiet. This can be about your daily life. This can be about how you live your life. This can be about your beliefs. This can be about anything that you truly, genuinely have always thought and believed in. It's like having an opinion is a problem. And when that happens, notice how they move around you. Notice the advice that you get from them. And especially if there is any type of advice that you take from them, if you don't act on it, they take it personal that you did not take their advice. But this is your own creation and you were just trying to get a perspective. You're not going to do everything that they say. And that in itself is an insult to them. So they're comparing with you as to why did this person not take my advice. So they don't care about the fact that you went up to them trusting their opinion just to get a perspective about something. But versus they think, how dare she, how dare he not take my advice? And that's entitlement. That's not friendship. You need to understand that. If you don't follow that, then they are going to make you feel guilty about the fact that you are wasting their time, taking their advice and not following it. It's like you having an opinion and you wanting to make your own decisions about your own life is a problem. And that is something which you need to address with them. And when you finally address with them and when you finally tell them exactly how you feel, they know you're right. But the problem is, it's you who's right. The problem is, the answer came from you. The advice came from you. The truth came from you. So unfortunately, sometimes these people need advice. These people need guidance. And they come to you expecting to hear something that they would normally already do. That's in their subconscious. That's the type of people that they are. Especially if this is about conversations revolving relationships, morals, values, integrity, loyalty. And if you're somebody who follows that, and if you give an advice based on something that you would do as a loyal, integral person, and if they are somebody who is spineless and has no loyalty towards their own man, their own woman, their own friends, their own family, their only loved ones, the fact that you gave something which is of righteous behavior and moral values are high there, that's a problem for them. Because how did she think about that and I didn't? Why did he think about it and I didn't? Why would she follow her advice? She's only bark. He's only bark. Of course, they don't have the moral values that they say they do. But we are not in that situation because we will never be in that situation because we won't put ourselves in that situation because that's not how we live our life. Just because we are friends don't make us the same people. Just because you're family does not make us the same people. So people need to understand that just because their moral compass is low does not mean ours is there as well. And just because we are not of the same level, they want to then compete and then compare and then get angry about the fact that we don't think like them, that we don't move like them, that we don't behave like them. We don't have beliefs like them. We don't like what they like. We don't live how they live.
So now what happens? It all backfires on you. Why? Because you did not say something that will appease them and please them, because you said something that is way above their moral values, their understanding, and how they perceive you. And they perceive you in a certain way because they perceive them own selves, because that's what they live their life like. So when you don't say anything according to their ego, that hurts them. So therefore, the advice soon becomes their own choice, right? And they'll never really be graceful for the fact that you gave them that advice. And if anything, if their bluff is caught, if they don't live up to the name that they supposed to be, and if you've given them certain advice, they turn it around and put it all on you as you're the reason why they did what they did. When in reality, your advice was stark opposite of what they did. But because they couldn't get out of their own dirty ways, their own dirty behavior, because they couldn't live up to what you would normally do if you were in a situation like that, they can't do that. So they still want to play dirty, and they do what they do, and it backfires on them, and karma happens to them, and life happens to them. And they have the audacity to blame it all on you for advice that you never gave. But they end up telling the whole world it's because of her, it's because of him, is what I did. And you, on the other hand, you're just living your life, because once you give advice, you move the fuck on. You don't really care who gives you any kind of grace for any advice that you give, because at the end of the day, by now, if you're somebody who's always been compared to by people you're not even thinking about, you're used to this politics. Grown-ass individuals, grown-ass men, grown-ass women who I'm talking to today want to play victims because people called out your bluff. People saw that you are secretly jealous, that you're comparing yourself with us, and therefore we dropped you and we moved on. If comparing yourself with another human being, if only talking about superficial things that you may have and probably they don't, and that's when you feel big about yourself, how small are you? And why do you want to connect with somebody who does not want to stay connected to you? Move the fuck on. People grow up and stop comparing. Instead, become something that you can show to the world too, for your own self, if you want the world to see. And if you don't, just stop being so much about he said, she said, and everybody has to look at me and I'm the best. And if somebody else is better than you, they're not better than you. They're just better than themselves than they were yesterday. That's the key. You're not that important. No one's thinking about you. And if people have physically moved on from your life, why are you keeping them alive in your head? Not in a good way, but in a bad way, where you're constantly sending them negative energy. You're constantly sending them evil eye. You're constantly sending bad thoughts and expecting the worst for them. Do you not know how karma works? Do you not think there's God? Because the more you compare yourself, the more you will hate your own self. The fact that you hate yourself is why you compare yourself to somebody else. Because if you were secure in yourself, you would never even compare your mind, your body, your soul, your achievements to somebody else. Instead, you will learn from them. You will teach them if they need anything from you. But at the end of the day, it's all about growth, because wise man knows he's not all knowing. They're not God. There's always something to learn.